Hi, everybody. In this video, I'm going to go over the top of page 159 in the workbook, the exercise that's called Connecting Predominant and Dominant Harmonies. So there's a formula to this, and it's pretty straightforward once you get it figured out. I have the formula kind of written out here in kind of bullet points. So I'll talk through how it works first, then show you the examples, and then come back to this at the end of the video. So connecting predominant and dominant harmonies. We talked about this in class before the break, but I'll remind you that when you connect so I have that here, upper voices move contrary to the bass. That's true for everything that I have written on the board right here. So remember that. That's the most important first step. When you connect a 4 chord to a 5 chord, so it's major 4 to major 5 and one voice will be skipping down, okay? When you're connecting a 2 chord to a 5 chord, so it'd be minor 2 6 usually in a major key going to major 5 in a major key, or 2 diminished 6 connecting to major 5 in a minor key, what you're gonna have is 2 voices skipping down and 1 voice stepping down, okay? So take a look at this really quick. Hopefully you can see it okay. I'll find out later. So I'm going to turn the board over to where I have the staves and work through the examples, okay? So this is your chance to go over this part of this page because we're not going to do it in class because of this video. All right. So the first example they gave to you, we are in the key of D major where the 4 chord connects to the 5 chord. And if you look, the bass is moving up by step and the upper 3 voices move down in contrary motion to the bass. So what's happening? We're connecting 4 to 5. And in the notes I just showed you, I said 2 voices will step and 1 voice will skip. Well, let's take a look. The tenor is moving down D to C sharp. And the soprano is moving down by step B to A. So there are your 2 voices that are stepping. Where's the voice that's skipping? It's the alto. It's moving from G down to E. Okay, so there's the formula for 4 to 5. Example B, the next example in the key of B minor, has you connecting a minor 4 to 5. I hope you can see that. And let's see, we've got 2 sharps in our key signature, so I'll put those F sharp, C sharp. And if we know our chords, what's the 4 chord in this key? It's going to be E, G, B. And the 5 chord is going half note E, going to half note F sharp in the bass. Okay, so now we'll voice the first chord in good spacing and range and all that SAT style. One way to do it is we could put G in the tenor. We could put, I'm doing it the way it shows, E here and a B in the soprano. Okay, so we've doubled the bass. We want to do that because we're a root position chord. Now, moving to our 5 chord from our 4 chord, the bass moves up by step. So the upper 3 voices are going to move down in contrary motion to the bass. So if we move our G in our tenor down to the nearest chord tone, we get F sharp. So we're going to have a unison there. If we move our E down to the nearest chord tone, I get to C sharp. There's a skip. And then B, moving down to the nearest chord tone, is going to be our A sharp. Don't forget your accidental. Okay, so we're connecting 4 to 5. And as I said at the beginning of the video, where you're connecting 4 to 5, 2 voices will step, 1 voice will skip. So the tenor is stepping, the soprano is stepping, and the alto is skipping. Now the upper 3 voices could be rearranged so that the skipping voice is in another voice besides the alto. That's just how it worked out here. Okay, let's do the next one. In the key of G flat, lots of flats here. Okay, we're connecting our 2 6 to 5. And as I said before, when you're connecting 2 6 to 5, upper voices move contrary motion to the bass. And you're going to have 2 voices that are skipping and 1 voice that's stepping. So it's kind of, can sort of think of it as opposite of this. 2 voices skipping, 1 voice stepping. So first, let's spell our 2 chord in this key. That's going to be an A flat, C flat, E flat. And our 5 chord in this key is D flat, F. This is in first inversion. So C is going to be our bass note. Okay, and if we voice this, we want to double the bass. Is the same with a 2/6 as it is with a 4 to a 5. So it's going to always be moving up by step. So our upper voices are going to move down. Our C flat and our tenor is going to move down to the nearest chord tone. That happens to be an A flat. Our A flat in the alto needs to move down to the nearest chord tone. So we're not keeping our common tone here. We're moving everything down in contrary motion to the bass. So A flat down to the nearest chord tone is going to be an F. And then our soprano E flat moving down to the nearest chord tone, that's going to be a D flat. Okay. So as I said, a 2/6 connecting to a 5 is going to be 2 voices skipping, 1 voice stepping. So the tenor is skipping, the alto is skipping, and our soprano happens to be the voice that's stepping here. Okay? Well, let's do another one. The next example is in the key of E major. Key signature written in. And in E major, they want us to connect a 4 chord to a 5 chord. So where 4 connects the 5, what do we get? 2 voices stepping, 1 voice skipping. So let's spell our chords. Our 4 chord is A, C sharp, E. Our 5 chord is B, D sharp, F sharp. Okay. So our bass note for the 4 chord is going to be an A. I haven't really myself enough room there, but that's okay. Our bass for our 5 chord is going to be a B. Okay, so if we voice our chord here, let's see, we could put, let's do a little bit more space between the bass and the tenor. So a C sharp, 4 in the tenor, and then we could do an A and an E. So our bass is doubled in the alto voice here. Don't forget to double your bass. Always think about your doubling. Now I want to move our upper 3 voices in contrary motion to the bass. 2 voices stepping, 1 voice skipping. C sharp down to the nearest chord tone gets us a B. A down to the nearest chord tone gets us an F sharp. Oop, wrong stem direction. And E down to the nearest chord tone gets us a D sharp. So our alto and our tenor and our soprano voices are stepping, and our alto is the skipping voice here. Okay. Let's do the next one in F sharp minor. F sharp minor, 3 sharps. What are we doing? 2 diminished, 6, connecting to 5. Okay, so this is a 2 connecting to a 5, so 2 voices will skip, 1 voice will step. So let's spell our chords. Our 2 diminished in this key is going to be a G sharp, B, D. Everything fits the key signature here. And then for our 5 chord, we'll have our accidental outside of the key. So that's going to be a C sharp, E sharp, which we'll have to add, and G sharp. Our bass note for our 2 chord, because it's in first inversion, is going to be a B. Our bass for our 5 chord is going to be C sharp, because it's in root position. Okay, so let's again make sure that we double the bass with our 2/6. So how about a G in the tenor, a D in the alto, and our B in the soprano? So the soprano is doubling the bass. Move everything in contrary motion to the bass, which is moving up by step. So G sharp down to the nearest chord tone. That's going to be our leading tone, our E sharp. D down to the nearest chord tone, that's going to be a C sharp. And B down to the nearest chord tone is going to be a G sharp. Okay. So we've got a skip in the tenor, a skip in the soprano, and our stepping voice is our alto. Okay. So that's the first 4 examples. So when you're connecting predominant to dominant harmonies, the upper voices are going to move in contrary motion to the bass. When connecting 4 to 5, major to major and a major key, or minor to major and a minor key, you'll have 2 voices stepping, 1 voice skipping. When you're connecting 2/6 to 5, and we say that's 2/6 because generally the 2 chord appears in first inversion. It's going to be minor 2/6 to major 5 and a major key, or diminished 2/6 to major 5 and a minor key. 2 voices will skip and 1 voice will step. Okay. So 3 more examples on this exercise. Forgive my awkward erasing. Okay. So the next one we need to do is an F minor. 4 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. Okay. So here we've got a 2 diminished 6 connecting to 5 in the key of F minor. Think through your chord spellings. So the 2 chord in this key is G, B flat, D flat. And the 5 chord in this key is C, E natural, and G. Bass note for our 2 chord is going to be a B flat because we're in first inversion. So B flat. And then the bass for our 5 chord is going to be C because we're in root position. Remember to double the bass for your diminished triad. So let's put a G in the tenor, a D flat in the alto, and a B flat in the soprano. So voice, so moving everything down to the nearest chord tone. G is going to move down to E natural. Don't forget your accidental. D flat is going to move down to C. And B flat is going to move down to G. Okay. Our next example in the key of A flat major. So same key signature, D flat. Here we're connecting our 4 to 5. So the 4 chord in the key of A flat major is D flat, F, A flat. The 5 chord in this key is E flat, G, B flat. Bass note for our 4 chord is going to be D flat. Bass note for our 5 chord, E flat. Let's finish voicing our 4 chord. Let's do, how about a D flat in the tenor? So double the bass in the tenor. And then an A flat in the alto and an F in the soprano. I'm just going to erase that really quick. Okay. Now we're connecting 4 to 5. So that means everything will move down in contrary motion to the bass. 2 voices will step, 1 voice will skip. So D flat down to the nearest chord tone is going to be a B flat. So there's our skip. A flat moving down to the nearest chord tone is going to be a G, and F moving down to the nearest chord tone is going to be an E flat. This in the key of F major. Okay, so in the key of F major, we are connecting 2/6 to 5. So we know just from the Roman numerals that 2 voices are going to skip, 1 is going to step. So let's spell our chords. The 2 chord in the key of F major is G, B flat, D. The 5 chord is C, E, G. The bass for our 2 chord is going to be B flat. The bass for our 5 chord is going to be C. Let's finish voicing our chord. Let's double the bass. We have 2 B flats, then we need a G, and we need a D. I'm just arbitrarily choosing that. Voicing. Everything is in good range and spacing, so we're good. Then everything moving down. So B flat moving down to the nearest chord tone is a G. G moving down to the nearest chord tone is an E. So there are 2 skips. D moving down to the nearest chord tone is a C. That's it. So by following the formula, you get, first of all, you avoid the parallel fifths and octaves that this so commonly creates if you go the wrong direction. And it also takes care of the doubling kind of on its own. So you'll notice that we've always got the bass doubled for our 5 chord just by following the formula. So one more time, I'll show you the summary of how this works. Oops, I erased part of it. Fail. So where the 4 chord is connecting to the 5 chord, we get 2 voices stepping and 1 voice skipping. Okay, where we connect 2 to 5, 2 voices will skip, 1 voice will step. So I hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions, and have fun. We'll see you later.